Happy Thursday and welcome to day 2 of our 2-day video devotion on Pentecost. So what's so special about the day of Pentecost? What exactly is it that we're celebrating? Well, to find out, we need to look no further than the Bible, specifically Acts chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. In a nutshell, and as mentioned yesterday, Pentecost is a birthday celebration, the day we commemorate the miraculous birth of the church. What we didn't talk about yesterday is the Holy Spirit's role in this Pentecost birthday event. And what's the Holy Spirit's role? Well, you could say that the Holy Spirit was the church's original birthday gift. And while that'd be correct, it'd only be partially correct. And I say that because without the Holy Spirit, there would have been no Pentecost and therefore no church in the first place. You see, it was on Pentecost that the gift of the Holy Spirit was given to the first Christians. And in doing so, that collection of Christians, empowered by the gift of the Holy Spirit, became known as the church. And how exactly does the Holy Spirit play into all this? Well, theologians have been wrestling with that question for 2,000 plus years. But one thing's for sure, the gift of the Holy Spirit is our God giving us part of Himself to be our advocate, our helper, and our comforter when we need Him the most. It's the thing that empowers us to carry on and carry one another when we're confronted with the reality of our own limitations and the reality of our fallen world's challenges. So using baseball, one of the many springtime traditions that have fallen victim to COVID, as an example, let me give you a kind of a real-life modern-day analogy. Jackie Robinson was the first African-American to play Major League Baseball. And in the face of hostile crowds at every stadium, Jackie was held to a higher standard and was often criticized and scrutinized more often than the white players of his time. So one day, while playing in his home stadium in Brooklyn, Jackie committed an error at second base. And even though the error occurred during the early innings of the game and had no material impact on the game's outcome, the crowd nonetheless began to ridicule him mercilessly. As thousands of fans flung their barrage of insults at him, Jackie stood alone at second base, feeling isolated and humiliated. But then, about the time the chorus of boos reached its crescendo, his teammate, shortstop Pee Wee Reese, crossed the diamond and stood next to his humiliated fellow infielder. He put his arm around Jackie, and together the two faced the cruel crowd as one. Seeing Jackie was no longer alone, the fans grew quiet. Robinson later said Pee Wee's act of solidarity, that arm around his shoulder, saved his career and gave him the strength to go on. Well, like Jackie, we Christians are often held to a higher standard. We're called hypocrites by some and weak by others. And that's certainly the case today and was even more the case in the early days of the church. But as the world continues to ridicule and humiliate us when we miss the mark, our God has given us a part of Himself, the Holy Spirit, to be our advocate, our helper, and our comforter when we need Him the most. When we need each other, we gather into community. When our abilities fail, when the world's boos come crashing around us, the Holy Spirit empowers us to carry on. And when we commit errors at second base, we're sustained by the Holy Spirit's presence. That's what the gift of the Holy Spirit does. It unites an otherwise diverse collection of individuals into one and strengthens us here on earth as it is in heaven for this out-of-this-world work that God has called us to. So have a blessed Thursday, and we'll see you Sunday in worship, Pentecost worship. In the meantime, keep on looking up, keep on loving and caring for one another. God's got this.